D and the missing anomaly, Sir John. But standing in is none other than my friend and yours, Audrey Wiggins. How you ladies doing today?
Trying to stay warm.
Yeah, sure.
It is just so cold
Okay,
here.
the Midwest has showed its colors.
Yes, it has. I think it is finally winter.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, it's
Yes.
finally, we were getting away with it for a minute, but hey, it's time to pay the piper,
Yes, yes.
shovel the
yes.
snow, and wear the 4 or 5 layers of clothes.
Exactly.
Yes, yes, indeed.
So,
Yeah.
so today we got a special treat for the audience because normally they don't get to see me
Hey,
on here. Hey, how's everybody
John,
doing?
what's
So,
happening?
so today we're going to have some fun. We're going to do some hot topics on what's going on with Lady D and the missing Sir John, standing in none other than Audrey Wiggins. So, Lady D, take it away.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of good things that's going on in our city throughout all this cold. And I just want to give some shout outs to some people here in the Northeast Ohio area. All last week I noticed on television they were really giving a big shout out to Dana Ward from Canton, young student here, goes to Canton School Systems. She scored the perfect 36
Oh, wow.
on her SAT and her ACT. And this is something that's like really not heard of.
Exactly. That's
You know,
phenomenal.
and so this young lady has, and she said she studied, but what she also did was she got some tutoring. So she really exerted herself into, giving her all. But she was surprised herself that she got the perfect score.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
And
amazing.
they talked about what would she like to do. The colleges and things are reaching out to her. And she says she enjoys reading, and that's what she wants to have a job in doing, is getting paid to read.
Wow.
So, that is awesome.
It is.
Because reading to me is either you enjoy it or you don't,
Right.
and to have that as just a lifestyle of making your living, that's awesome.
So I wonder if she would be a publisher or something like that.
Yeah,
An
it would be
editor.
interesting to
An
follow
editor,
her to
yeah.
see what she's going to become as she moves out of high school, And then there's another young man, David Miller. He came into the schools last week at Daniel E. Morgan, the preschool from preschool to 8th grade.
Okay.
And he's in there talking about closing the Achievement Gap program. It's a program, Closing the Achievement Gap. And he's the founder of Dare to Be King. So, and I thought that was just amazing because he's working and mentoring with our young men, getting them into being who they are and finding their talents and making them be aware of situations and how to be a king, because we all are kings and queens.
Amen.
And we have to start somewhere when we have our children.
Right.
We have to lead by example as well. So he's also, he was meeting with the parents too. So it wasn't just with the students, he met with the parents. And he has a book out called The Survival Workbook for African American Males.
Wow.
So I would like to get a hold of that book and maybe reach out to you, Mr. David Miller, and have you come on our show.
That would be phenomenal.
Yeah,
Yes, definitely.
get him on here and talk about, the importance of this, and I think that's awesome to see great leadership, coming back into our city schools, because also I heard that the schools are now going to get free college education.
Oh, really?
Yes, Cleveland Metropolitan School Systems.
Really?
Yes.
Free
It's
college education?
Yes,
I saw something.
yeah, something like that for 25 years. So look into that because there's a lot of talk of it, and they just announced it.
Okay.
First time ever. So I think
Yeah, I
this
wonder
is
who's
fantastic.
funding that.
Yeah, I think this is fantastic as well. So, and also I was checking out some other news that is so important. Speaking of our students in school, a lot of times our parents, we have to go to work. Kids are key kids, they are on their own, and sometimes your kids, they don't always go to school.
Right.
Yes, that's
And
true.
it's so important to know the whereabouts of where your children are. And Alana DeFreeze, her parents are out now advocating for for them to come up with a program so the schools can actually target in and let the parents know when their students are being missed from school. Not waiting till the end of the day to know that your child didn't show up for school.
Amen.
Because this is what happened with her. They didn't know that she was in school until the end of the day, and, so sad, this happened to this young lady. So the parents are out here trying to get a law passed.
Oh, okay.
And I think that is great because we really have to stay up on the whereabouts of our kids. And even with as an adult.
Right.
Because things are always going on. And it's always good to have somebody that you can reach out to and say, I'm home. Or know where you are. You can never get too old, children, to not let somebody know where you are,
Right.
Yes, it's a matter of safety and security. Can we go back for a minute? I found an article about this free education. People will probably want to know about this. So I found an article on Cleveland.com where it says free college tuition starts now for Cleveland students as Say Yes to Education arrives. And this was updated on January 18th, so not long ago. And so if you just want to follow that article out there, you can, do your little research on there and find it online. But it says it'll be free for virtually, all Cleveland School District graduates starting this year's senior class. So the students that graduate this June or May or whenever they come out, they're going to get this. So it's launched today. It's a program called Say Yes to Education. So look that up, and they announced it. It was a rally over at John Marshall. They had announced that, and so they have already raised about $125 million. So that's about the 70% of the dollars that they need, you said, for 25 years.
Right.
So that's fantastic. So I'm not going to go through the whole article, but people can look that up.
Yeah, and so therefore, there's no excuse not to take advantage of this, because it's expensive.
Yes, and
to
it's
go
going
to
up,
school.
And it keeps going up.
Yeah, books cost as much as sometimes your car note.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. You go for a full-time semester. You're right. You spend a few $100s.
Yes. Yeah. So that's important. So take advantage of that. Start prepping and getting ready now.
Yes.
Even if your student is your children are not graduating this year, start looking into all the things that what my word I want to use here, the qualifications,
eligibility things you need to do.
Now, is there any kind of is it says what schools you can go to, or is it any school that the student is eligible for? Does it say how that works or anything like that?
Let's see. Let me scan through here real quickly.
Because that would be nice. Because I think LeBron James, with that Akron school that he founded,
right?
They can actually go to, I think it's Akron University. I think that's like the primary
school for that
you can go to. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would hope that they're, just the local schools in the Northeast Ohio area are being supported by this, because we've got great schools right here. Even though children want to go away from home, but every student is not able to go away from home.
Right.
And live in a dorm, And that dorm experience, everybody wants. You got to do it at least one time, But it can be expensive when you can't afford it.
I remember when I was working for AT&T, they would pay for your college education up to so many hours every semester, just free education. They would pay for it. So it's something that's very feasible and that can be done.
Yes.
If corporate America can do it, why can't the government do it too?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And even some of your employers now, if you want to continue education, they offer you, they'll reimburse you.
Right.
After you went, they'll reimburse that to you. So that's really something to look into. I noticed last week I was at work, and I said, wow, I didn't know this as long as I've been working for the bank. But we had a website that we can actually go and look, and there's so many businesses that actually give the employees a discount.
Wow.
And I mean, it was so huge. I was like, man, I really need to be taking advantage of this. Mm-hmm. So, check with your employer and see what type of discounts your employers are you're able to get through working through that company. Because I know a lot of them, they will give you discounts for joining the Y, getting fit.
Right, because that saves the corporation money, if we're healthy. Yes. The more fit we are, absolutely. Yes.
And then, they also have little tests and classes that you can take and one-on-ones real quick at work that they pay you.
Yeah. Wow.
Because I know some of ours, we get $100 for doing this or passing that or being fit in this area, keeping your cholesterol levels and things down, and they put this money into your health savings account.
Yes, exactly.
So it comes in handy, so
for sure.
It's a good way to promote, keeping your employees fit. Because I know Cleveland Clinic, they are really big on being healthy there.
Yeah, because I know some of their programs, I know a person who worked there before says if you don't, at a certain level of weight or health, you can lose your job.
Yeah, no smoking. They banned that, long time ago.
Yes. And I did find these eligible colleges here.
Oh, okay. So what are they?
Scroll through here.
Okay.
It says all state colleges and universities. There's a list of 116 private schools. We're going to have to research that and find out what they are, and pretty much they have these include some Ivy League universities and several Ohio colleges, include Ashland and BW, Bob and Wallace, Case Western, Denison, Dayton, John Carroll, Kenyon, Notre Dame, Oberlin, Ohio Western, Rooster, and so you can see what other ones there are. The article is kind of lengthy, but I think they also had a website, sayyescleveland.org.
Okay.
And you can find out more information. So yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That
here it is.
Great.
Yes. sayyescleveland.org.
Okay, you got that? sayyescleveland.org and get all your information as far as your student getting taking advantage of this wonderful program of this giveaway.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, because I went to a program last night. This is for the Breakthrough Charter Schools.
Okay.
And I was just happened to look in here, and one of the donors, to that program, major sponsor, Haslam 3 Foundation was one of the.
How are their charter schools coming along? I know when they first came out, it was so many of them, throughout the city. So I know we still have quite a few.
Yeah, but some are very successful, and some are not. And like I said, there's Breakthrough Schools, Horizon. They actually mentioned in this article here have been very successful, and people are donating. And the event last night was actually a fundraising gala. And which means they've already raised money, but then they have the gala again to raise money. So those tables were anywhere from $3,500, $10,000, dollars. And even that night, they raised money from the floor. Like an auction starting off, they have this program where a classroom costs $29,000 or something. So, there's a couple of people or organizations that actually donated that money, down to $100, sponsors last night. So I think they raised over $250,000.
That is awesome.
I'm sorry, what was that website again for the...
Oh, yes, sayyescleveland.org.
Sayyescleveland.org. Sayyescleveland.org.
Yes, Say Yes, because the program is Say Yes, and this is for the Cleveland district they were talking about.
Okay.
Right.
That's great. Awesome. Yes. And let's see here. I want to talk about, now that the temperatures are really going to be dropping this week, how important it is to not only stay warm, but the safety in your homes, because some people may not have heat, or even if you got heat and you want to run your little heater to cut the cost, because we're always looking for cutting costs,
right?
And but you have to be very careful with those heaters.
Yes.
What I found myself, because I bought this little heater, I'm like, I'm gonna conserve my heat bill too. Well, I'm so glad I did it to find out real quick. I plugged the heater into an extension cord that was already something else is running off of. That's one of those do not do.
Yes.
Do not do. Because when I got ready, I only had it on for a short time, but it was so hot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this could really spark a fire. So I immediately unplugged it, and I, plugged it into the wall. But I also, now if I use it, I only use it for a little while, then I cut it off. because it still generates a lot of heat.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't want to spark fires by having those heaters, because a lot of homes we have freak accidents like that.
That's right. Yeah,
you know, you
can
fall asleep.
Yeah, before you know it, that thing is left on, and they can also, while you're saving on your gas bill, you have to also, you know, be wary of that electric bill.
Electric bill,
well.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
so
and
that's
that's
someplace where they cover that. You know,
Yeah.
some apartments, the electric is covered or the gas is covered.
What I do notice is that now they do have the heaters, like if they tip over, it automatically cuts off.
Yes, that's
So
awesome.
that's really good too.
Yeah.
And you know, you have to keep your pipes warm. So you know, keep the heat on to a certain degree so the pipes don't freeze.
Right, so that can cause, so where you think you're saving money on one hand, you have a disaster. You're like, okay, this is like worth, you know, 4 or 5 gas bills trying to catch up, you know, recover from a flood. Cause that's,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so definitely keep the house, you know, at a good temperature. Check your pipes. And also they were saying, you know, even let your water drip a little bit from the faucets, just so that they don't freeze up. That keeps it from freezing up.
Yeah. And one thing I've heard before in the past is that if you're going on vacation, to pour like antifreeze down in the commode.
Really?
To keep those pipes, yes, from freezing. Yeah, because that water is sitting there, you know, stagnant. But to put you know, put some antifreeze in there. Actually.
I didn't know that. Okay, so we're just learning something all the time here. Antifreeze in the commode. Okay.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And also too, you know, I don't know if my sister-in-law is listening, but I'm so sorry. Her pipes freezed over in her home.
Wow.
She had a bust of pipes. And,
oh my gosh.
But she said she still has water. I don't know how she still has water, but she said she still has water. But just the cost of having to repair a frozen pipe can be a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right,
So
to know where that thing bursts.
Yeah. So in the next few days, you just want to definitely make sure that your pipes are heated. You know, one thing that we do, especially in the kitchen area, we just go ahead and open up that cupboard where you know where that pipe sits, so that the house heat can keep it warm.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, because I know even in my house, I was checking that, and what's really cool is that I actually have heater vents. There's one right under the kitchen.
Okay.
There's one in the bathroom.
Right.
You know, the bathroom, the side bathroom is really nice because it's really nice and warm. And I keep the thermostat on 71.
Okay.
And I've never changed it, and it's very comfortable.
Okay.
You know, and if I sometimes, because I'm going through the change,
personal summers.
Right, okay, you get hot, you get cold.
I don't know if the change is going to keep the pipe warm, but it might,
I don't know. Some of us get so hot, you know, you can just wrap yourself around a pipe. Okay?
Exactly. Okay, let me cool. Step out on the porch.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. But you know, you were talking about wrapping up and keeping warm and the water. I want to go step back for a second. That, you know, we need to be hydrated as well. The cold air, walking and standing in the cold, actually, you know, can dehydrate us. Just as fast or faster sometimes even than summer, you know, hot temperatures.
And keeping your face covered, especially your children out there standing waiting for the bus.
Yeah.
You know, you're inhaling that cold air and it's harsh. You know, so if you keep that over your mouth, it actually keeps, you can get some heat going on there, you know.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, because I know some of the schools, and watch your televisions, because a lot of the schools are going to be shut down during the middle of the week because the temperature is supposed to be so far below that, you know, they're just going to close up.
Right. We were talking about that at breakfast. We couldn't remember what the actual temperature, you know, what it gets to, you know, when whatever that is, to make that announcement, the shutdown.
Yeah. How below? I know they always say below zero. But how low can you go?
Well, you know, we've had some 21 belows, you know, a couple years ago, and the college closed down, and, you know, when as well as the schools.
Yeah. I don't know.
I've got my little handy lumber, like, see if I can research something here. Let me see. School shut down temperatures.
Yeah.
Is that oh my goodness, but it gets.
But then come Friday, we're going to get back into starting to warm up again. It's supposed to be up to 35 degrees.
Oh, this is going to be a heat wave.
Yeah, coming from that, you know, so that's cool.
Oh my God.
So I'm just saying, you know, just look out for your neighbors. You got elderly neighbors.
Oh, you're
you know,
talking
go
about...
check on them. You know, because everybody can't get out. You know, keep a watch And I want to talk about something else. Speaking of
keeping
a watch.
It was Timberlow. Okay.
Did you find out?
Yeah, it was Timberlow for 1 and some 15, but 25. But Timberlow is kind of minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of keeping a watch, something really sad happened here this past week with break-ins.
Yeah.
Yvonne Porter. And we're so sorry she had to go through this.
Yes,
But she's a mighty woman of God, and she still gives a positive word after this horrible experience that she had to go through. And, we live in neighborhoods. We have to work. Everybody doesn't work. It's after the holidays, and people are looking. You're going to have someone out there looking to do wrong. And it's a shame that you have to go and steal from someone else and go and tear up their homes.
Right.
To take something that you could have actually had yourself if you just went out there and worked. So, if you see something, say something.
That's it.
Do something. They're actually giving you, I was in church today and they passed out, safety tips. And when you call in and you want to let the police or the emergency department know, giving them information, know how to identify yourself with your name and address and phone number. So if you get cut off, they can call you back. Identify the nature of the call. Tell what happened, the situation. Let them know if you see a weapon or something that's involved or someone hurt, because all this information is important. Try to, give a accurate location. The street. If you even got the address, that's even better.
Right.
If you got the description of that individual, the sex, the race, the age, height, any kind of clothing description, all of that is good. The vehicles. If you get sometimes you can't get the license plate, but the color of the vehicle, type of vehicle is important. And remember, good lighting and cameras, because they're really promoting this heavily now. Now you can get it on your phone, where you and your neighbors, you can see what's going on when you're not at home, So if you see something, say something. Start looking out for one another.
I was reading an article the other day. No, it was today, and it was about churches now having to really just have more security. I mean, volunteers. There's actually volunteer security services in churches. This one church, they were saying, I think they got like 18 armed members.
Wow.
Really?
So if you go to this church trying to start some mess, they got some firepower.
Oh my goodness.
Which is sort of sad that has to be the state, but that's just the world we live in, and you have to have protection.
Yeah.
In the church now.
And that's bad. You got to pack a pistol in the Bible.
Right. So it used to be they would, always would have some kind of guard watching the cars.
Right.
But, it's getting worse, getting deeper. I know I had visited a church, and if you don't get there by a certain time, all the doors are locked except this one entryway you can get into.
Really?
So they can control the flow of traffic.
Yeah, because you never know who's coming in the church, and that's sad. But again, be aware of your surroundings. Watch where you're going. I've heard even on the news last week, they mentioned that running a red light is not going to be against the law anymore. Because if you're out there late at night or something, and if it's going to be treated like a caution light. So if you're traveling and you're not comfortable where you are and you feel as though you need to run a light, they're saying run the light.
Okay. Explain later, huh?
Yeah, explain later.
We have to be careful.
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't say go do it, but this is something that they were talking about.
Okay.
Maybe even
Lady
putting
D,
in law. Yes.
Lady D.
What?
Lady D, okay. In what city, first of all? Give me some clarification.
Google that.
Is this
a
suburb? Because I'm trying to figure out what city say you can treat a red light.
Because some of us scarred based on
well, I'm going to tell you, it's not the city of Cleveland. It's not the city of Cleveland.
I didn't think so.
No, it's not us.
That's a little
but,
scary.
I would want city of Cleveland to kind of like maybe
Well, consider it.
Consider it, yeah. Because I'm gonna be very honest. When I was a teenager and had to be to work at 6:30 in the morning, and I would come through a certain neighborhood. Well, the bus depot was on 79th, and I would come across 79th and early in the morning. It's pitch black. Anybody out there but me?
Right.
I was running me some stop signs.
Yeah, now you know what? I'm with you on that.
I was gonna
sit
sit
run
wait.
a stop sign in a minute.
You know, because I don't know who's going to come out at me. I'm waiting, you know, abiding by law, trying to go to work. So, you know, you just have to be a care of your, you know.
Cautious of your environment.
Right. And even when you're driving, you know, don't always pull all the way back up on someone.
Right.
Because you never know when you may have to move out. You know, people bump you now just to make you get out your car, you know, to stick you up. So you got to be careful.
Yeah. I couldn't have later. We all have access to these tools.
Yeah.
So we need to look this up.
I probably could get online and start looking that up.
Yeah, but you know, they were talking about doing that. I was like, okay. So that was interesting.
So, folks, I mean, we heard what Lady D said, but make sure it's in your city, in your principality first.
And your hands are like on the wheel.
Right.
Don't be.
Right. Exactly.
And please don't say Lady D said that, you know,
officer,
it was
Lady
okay.
Lady D said okay, and she said I can run a red light if I was nervous.
Okay. But I know if it gets a little creepy, I think about that. You know, even now you're out there, it's dark, and if you know somebody's come up beside you or whatever, I'm gone.
Yeah. It's you just never know.
You know, go and pray. You know, move forward and pray at the same time.
Amen. Well, let's talk a little bit about the elephant in the room.
Okay.
The elephant in the room. Okay, the shutdown. I know that's like a big topic.
Yes.
What do you guys... Now, let me give you my take.
Okay.
You know, I really don't like the media, and here's why. While Donald Trump would not allow the government to go forward, when he finally did allow the government to go forward, the first thing they said, he's caved in. He done caved. So either y'all want the government open or you don't. Why do we always have to find the negative in everything? And why don't we just look at the positive fact that the government is now open, people got their jobs back, and things are moving towards better than saying, okay, well, the president caved in and now you only got 3 weeks. Why do you always got to find the negative about that? That just bothers me. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I don't understand why we got to have just 3 weeks. And then you're going to come back with this threat. If I don't get it my way, then I'm going to go to the extreme measures. You know, again, you're playing with people's livelihoods. They have to live.
That's right.
And they're, you know, some of them are already in debt. Why put them furthermore in debt? And, you know, it's just the livelihood of the people. You know, you're talking about building a wall. This wall, I mean, I'm quite sure there is a way that if they want to enter our country, to do it the right way.
Right.
We have enough walls that are built, whether they're visual or non-visual. It's time for us as a people to start to come together and eliminate all this separation, you know. And to me, I don't care for the fact that you're going to just do it for 3 weeks. And then you're going to, you know, you're threatening the workers again. You know, these people have been dedicated and loyal on these jobs. And this is their livelihood. You're playing with their livelihood. The same with the food stamps. I understand that they gave them 2 months worth because they didn't know if they were going to be able to have it for next month. Yes, that's a good thing, but then it's may not be such a good thing because now, you know, people who shop are not really good at shopping. They go spend all their food stamps.
Well, we can't be responsible for your responsibility.
Right. You got to be responsible, but you know.
Yeah, go deep on that part.
you're playing with someone's livelihood.
Yes. So my take on it, you know, I'll pull on the elephant's trunk for a minute.
Okay.
Is that and I did notice that you do not follow the media a lot, and you know, and I'm on one side, but to say that he caved, which was not true. You know, he really did not cave. He just decided he was gonna open the government. Okay, let's try to negotiate for another 3 3 weeks, but open to government at the same time. So whether or not they come to an agreement or not in 3 weeks, is another question.
Right.
But because that seems to me like it's still like a short period of time. To me, whatever we're trying to do, it's not going to happen in a few weeks, even from the beginning. I think it takes time because you have to really okay, what is the plan? So you have a goal. What are those objectives, the steps? How do we make that happen? Barrier, other types of security, whatever it is that we're going to come up with.
Right.
But the people at the table, all the people should be at the table, first of all, and really be, cognizant of where you're coming from when you're speaking your piece, or from where you're really coming from. Is this coming from animosity, just personal? Is this coming from your constituents? You're trying to support the people in your community, but remember, no matter what somebody else says or does, and there's a lot of negativity coming from the White House. It's,
sure.
So, but at the same time, that was not true. That he caved.
But now, here's a question for you, and maybe you can Google this too. Why is it all of a sudden that in Guatemala and Venezuela and other places in South America that they're rushing towards the United States and Mexico? What is it that caused this? Because I feel bad for them. In the sense that you had to leave your home, and your city, and take your kids out of school, and leave your job if you had one or didn't have one, that you would be so afraid to have to flee to another country. See, we haven't experienced that personally,
right?
But if you put yourself in their shoes, it must. It has to be deep. Something really deep, right? What's going on that you would leave? Think about it, Lady D. You would leave PNC. Think about this, Audrey. You would leave Cleveland State. I would leave KAZ Radio Television and go to Canada and pray that I can move to Canada because something is so horrific is going on in the city of Cleveland that I can't live in the Cleveland or Ohio. You got to really think about that. I can't think we should turn those people away if they're in such dire need to want to come to a place of safety.
Right. And what makes us, judge so harshly, because this isn't the first time that a group of people have left their country to come to the U.S. seeking peace, seeking the American dream, coming from a hellhole, of a situation that they've been dealing with. Excuse me,
right?
For using that word.
Yeah.
But
you know what? Here it is. This has been going on from the beginning of time. People have always left their countries to come to America.
Yeah. So why now are we so good that that no one else can come in?
Right.
And so now we be judging everyone else.
Right.
Well, now I understand there's a process. Don't get me wrong. I understand there should be a process.
Sure.
But I think we should. I think that we should focus on the process of processing the people so that they can have a place to stay here in the United States. Instead of course, people that's doing things illegally, you got to stop that.
Right.
But there's also a way for them to do it legally.
Right.
And maybe we can expedite that legal portion of it.
Yes.
Versus, I understand building a wall, I understand the importance of that to stop illegal activity.
Right.
But what about the people that are fleeing for their lives?
Yeah.
There's something that we should be able to do to help them. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, right. I agree.
Yes.
I agree with you on that because here again, we see it all the time. But how come the presidents of these different countries can't come to a round table? And are we okay to get involved of what's going on? I know you can't go over and say, well, I run my country this way, you run yours that way. But your people here, I guess I want to say, things that they tolerate and they allowed to do, we don't allow that. And we have a system and a format of how you should be punished. Our punishment is not as cruel as over there. And, when you look at over in Africa, the people over there, they're suffering, they're getting shot up, and they're not fleeing to America. as much as we don't hear about it as much.
Some of them are.
You know, they're coming in,
Sure.
you know, but they're so hard on the Mexicans. You know, why is that? I mean, because the drug cartel.
You know, that's a good. You know, like that's the question I want to know. I mean, I think it's. I need to research it. Need to find out. You know, why people are rushing by thousands.
Yeah.
To the border of Mexico and America.
Yeah.
You know, what is it? It just can't be because all these people are criminals and they want to come and and steal and and rob people. That's not even, you know, those people are getting in through tunnels. The crooks are coming through tunnels.
And they're probably driving across and getting with legal asylum.
Probably. You know, now one thing I did hear, which I thought was interesting, is that like people from other countries across the sea, they don't necessarily fly into the United States. They'll fly into Guatemala. They'll fly into Mexico. They'll fly into those places and come through the border that way.
Okay.
You know, a lot of them. You know, to bypass, you know, customs in the United States.
Right.
And even Mexico right now has sort of lifted their restrictions on coming through to the United States. I don't know if you guys knew this now, but you can go from. I mean, you can go from Guatemala into Mexico and not be stopped. The border's wide open. Just they're letting people come right on through.
Okay.
Which I find it interesting too. Like, why would you do that?
It's like almost like a setup.
Yeah, exactly.
But what's there though when they come from Guatemala to Mexico? Isn't that where they're processed though to come through?
Yeah, see, they're not being processed. Like, they'll come to the Mexico border, where you should get processed to come into Mexico, and they're not. It's an open border. It's like you going over to Canada, for instance,
right?
And the guards aren't there. You can just drive right on through the toll without any questions, and that's what they're doing now. And so that's why they're getting a flood of people. So I see his concern.
Yeah.
For what's going on down there.
Right.
And, you know, we're so far away from it.
Right.
You know, it doesn't affect us directly.
Right.
But the folks in those cities and those borderline communities, it does affect them.
Yeah. And then they have people here that are here legally that they are trying to get their families and things over here. And because of the fear and the terror and the poor living conditions and things like that, you know, they're deplorable. And they're just packed in these buses and trucks like sardines,
right.
You know, and they take the chance. They rather die trying to get here
right.
versus staying there. They rather take that risk. That's really that's really alarming. Yeah. You know, that throws up some flags. That's where the story is
right there.
Right, and how come someone is not reaching and getting to the bottom of that?
Right. Instead of doing the fear tactics and spreading rhetoric without having the facts, let's find out what's really driving that.
Yeah, because we're labeling them. We're putting a label.
Right.
Like all the Mexicans are a drug. They're smuggling drugs, right. and that's not true, and that's not right.
Right, because we have all the same kind of people or any other countries. We have them here.
Yeah.
Where there's rapers, there's drug dealers.
Yes. They're all over. Crime is everywhere.
Right. So stop looking at that part of it. Okay, so why are people, do a study or whatever you have to do. Why are people, fleeing these countries? From Central America. Basically, we're talking about Central America, and coming through to Mexico and to the United States.
It's well worth investigating. I would like to see that done versus tearing down our wall here with at our own White House. The Democrats and the Republicans. They're having this fight going on, and we don't need that right now. We need to get things back on track, because what's going to happen is, they always create a mass disaster, for the next president that's going to come in. And speaking of next president, we've got a new lady that's going to be running for president.
Kamala
Harris, Kamala D. Harris, running in 2020. So how do you feel about having a lady president? It's time for a change. Women in the White House running things.
Bring it on, Kamala.
Okay.
Camilla. Is her name Harris?
Yes, Harris. Camilla, Kamala D. Harris, running for president 2020.
Yes.
Well, guys.
Sounds good to me.
Well, guys, you know what? It sounds good, but is it good?
Yeah, again, we have to what's the platform, what's the experience, the quality. Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
We can't just run just because it's a female.
Right.
Absolutely. I totally
so
agree.
It's worth checking out and seeing because she's from where? San Francisco?
Right.
Yeah. So
she's very, 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 look. Okay, now. Here's Pastor James coming.
All right.
Okay,
she's very liberal. That could be dangerous, to be too liberal. Because liberal means that almost any and everything goes, to me. The same-sex bathroom thing, for instance. The gay marriage thing, for instance. There's all these different liberalities that can affect the fabric of this country. And I don't think that we should, abortions, for instance. I mean, she's for all that stuff. I'm looking at New York, who had the nerve, that's another topic, we can talk about that, who had the nerve to say you can kill a baby up until its birth. What kind of mess is that?
Oh no,
murder.
I mean, and you're trying to tell me this is how you want the United States to be looked at as far as killing the babies and all the transgender and you know what, I would be even cool with it, but then they want to attack the Christian. They want to attack guys, who believe in God and believe in the Father, believe that God is their daddy and all. Now we get attacked. To me, it's like it's just not right. It's just not right. It seems like they're trying to destroy the godly principles that I want to live by, and that I have to accept other people's principles, but other people can't accept mine. That's not fair.
Correct.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree with that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe that's why another reason why everybody wants to try to get over here to America, where the melting pot and everything goes.
Well, it didn't start that way.
No, it didn't. The Queen of England, she put all the misfits on the boat and sent them, and so now this is where we've got a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Right. But see, this is what the thing I've been trying to tell folks. When Donald Trump gets out of office, which I'm sure he is, I'm sure Democrats gonna come in office. You better make sure you get the right one.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, because a lot of the stuff that Christians and things of that nature should have a right to do.
Right.
Those things may not be our rights anymore. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Very quickly. That's going down the drain.
Yeah, right. So you better start doing your homework, and it's so important to understand and know what you're voting for, who you're voting for, and
don't just go on race or gender,
right?
Because that's not always going to get you what you need, or what you want.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So that is a very interesting.
So Kamala Harris, 2020, huh?
Yes, she came on.
And there's a couple other folks. There's a couple other folks too, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a young man that's coming out too. I can't think of his name.
Is it Beto?
Yeah, I think isn't he a senator now? U.S. senator. Somebody's a U.S. senator. I think he did a really good job in the.
Beto. I think he's from Texas. I'm not. I don't want to. Don't quote me.
Okay. Yeah. So they're starting to show up and come out, and I'm quite sure more and more will be.
Biden.
Yeah. They even talked about Miss Obama.
Oh yeah.
Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama coming. She's going to be coming to our city soon this year.
Cleveland. She's going to be.
Yeah, she's going to be here in Cleveland.
Yeah, March 15th, I think it is.
Yeah.
She's got a book coming out. Or do you know?
I think over at Playhouse Square.
Oh, Playhouse Square.
One of the theaters here.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to be coming. Yeah. Someone who I haven't seen in a long time, Gladys Knight, she's coming here. She's going to be here February 12th. and she's going to be at the McCoy Center in Columbus.
Okay.
At 7:30, and I haven't seen Gladys perform in quite some time.
Yeah, me too.
Well, you can watch her next week. Isn't Gladys Knight performing for the
Super Bowl?
Super Bowl, is that her or is it Patti LaBelle? Who is it?
I think it was
either
Gladys.
One would be great.
Because they had some talk about Gladys and why would she be performing because of the kneel down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't get all the 411 on that, but there was some
that's
talk
another
about
issue.
that.
Oh gosh,
yeah,
there's so many hot topics.
Yes, okay. Well, and the kneel down position? Are they the guys, the sports guys? Are they still kneeling, or is this gonna, is it fading away? What's going on with that?
I don't know. I haven't watched.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've got the Super Bowl. That's next Sunday.
Yep.
Rams and the Patriots.
Yep.
All right. So who are you going for?
Well, come on, really? I mean,
Did I need to ask?
Did you not see that game with the Patriots?
Oh,
and the who was it? I forget the game. The team that played them, they just whipped them so well.
Mm-hmm.
That Doherty guy, Brady, is just phenomenal. He's a phenomenal player. I don't think anybody can beat him.
Okay.
I don't think nobody can beat him. Not this year.
Okay.
Not this year. So that's who I'm going with, the Patriots.
Going with the Patriots. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. Get your Super Bowl goodies on and have a good time. Okay?
Yeah. Oh. I got an announcement. Speaking of Super Bowl, somebody in the studio has got a new house. And what a great opportunity to have a housewarming
It needs to be Christian.
Super Bowl party. So when she gives out that address, folks, everybody's invited to Lady D's house for a Super Bowl party. But she got to give you the address first.
That's
right.
You got to get the address.
Okay, but as soon as I get it, you'll get it.
Yes, Super Bowl party.
You better give it to me too.
Hey, we're gonna have it outside in my backyard.
Uh-oh.
Okay, bring your
Oh,
blankets.
maybe we should do it in the studio. Let's have the Super Bowl party right here downstairs. What about it, Doctor?
Yeah, we have Super Bowl Sunday
Not
here.
your doctor. I just elevated you, Pastor
Only
James.
We don't have no TVs here. We had a television.
I've got one right over in my studio. I've got one in my studio.
50-inch TV.
Well, it's not. Well, it's 32. Sorry, we have to get a bigger screen.
We need big screen. For
I'll
this.
get the big screen. You bring the food.
Okay. Speaking of Super Bowl Sunday, I heard them talking about, it's okay for them to do all this advertising with the beer commercials, but it's not okay for them to talk about the marijuana legal. Yeah, that's been some talk.
Okay.
Medical marijuana, they're not letting them do their advertising, but it's okay for them to do all this alcohol. What's your take on that?
Wow.
Well,
Hot topic.
marijuana is legal.
Yes.
Certain forms.
Yeah,
Correct.
certain form, but it's not. The thing is not legal everywhere.
No.
And so I can see why they wouldn't advertise the Super Bowl, because Super Bowl advertisement goes everywhere, and it could lead to a misconception that, in Ohio, it's medically legal, but not recreationally legal.
Correct.
So I can see why they wouldn't allow that kind of commercial. But what do you mean, thank God? I mean,
because I already get sick from people's cigarette smoke. So then you're going to be next door to me smoking your weed. It's coming into my apartment. I actually, and a person actually died. This lady died that was next to me. She was, I don't know, she was smoking something laced, over her cigarette smoke. I couldn't sleep in my room.
In your apartment?
Yes. They moved me out of there. I had everything taped up and everything, and eventually she died. Wow. With, God rest her soul. But they moved me to another apartment. So it's a little different, for smoking weed because it comes out, and you can share that. That high.
With your neighbor.
Even though they don't want it.
I could be feeling all right.
You drinking your booze and you drinking your beer.
My back.
Oh, okay, right. And that's where I'm coming from. So I'm not I was young once, and
Yeah.
Well, Miss Audrey, she doesn't like to smoke. But if you have some cannabis brownies.
Brownies.
Or cannabis chocolate chip cookies.
Right. And they do have dessert flavors.
Come on by. But just don't smoke. I don't want no
yes.
I don't want no smoke.
Okay, so smokeless cannabis, okay?
You know, because I mean that's the thing.
And that's
now.
not new either. People have done that for years.
Put it in a tea bag and have a hot tea.
Okay. They're gonna have to, pay you for those tips, ladies.
Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, but Gladys is gonna be performing again. I would just love to see Gladys and the Pips one more time.
Yeah, I enjoy. Go back to the front row. Remember that?
Oh God, the front row was like the best place ever. No matter where you sat, you had a good seat.
Yes,
you could see the revolving stage. Awesome. They need to build the front row back again.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah, because I mean, it was like the place to go, and New Year's Eve. It was just like the big fashion show because they always had 2 shows, and you know what? When I didn't realize that it wasn't that far away from where we live, but in the wintertime it seemed like you were going such a long
exactly.
place.
And I live in there now, and it's like I said, this is where we used to come to go to the theater.
You were going somewhere.
Right, I thought we were like going for on the other side of the universe to get there. It's crazy.
And I think about that, and and the limousines. People would have their limos parked out front. You were really doing something because I know one year, me and my guy, we and his friends, we all went in on a limo.
Okay.
And went out there for New Year's Eve. And I mean, it was just a thing to do. It was really cool. And they brought the best shows. I've gotten so many different souvenirs from the stars that was out there.
Oh, okay.
One time I went, had front row seats, Peabo Bryson. Girl, Peabo Bryson came down and sung to me and held my hand. I was no more good. I mean, they stopped the stage and there was Peabo in front. Singing to me. Girl, I was just too fit to be tied.
That, that was the, my parents took me to see Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay. Wow.
At the front row. I'll never forget that. And my first marriage, the way I captured her, I took her to see Luther. At the front row. That was it. It was over.
That's where I think I saw him.
Yeah, I seen Luther out there too. And oh my goodness.
Wow.
B.B. King.
Oh yes, yes. So we go to
BB.
Saw him several times out there.
BB and that band, BB boy, BB shuck that head. That guitar man was it. Ooh, he rocked the house all night. I used to take my mother and her girlfriends. They loved BB, and then they used to have entertainment down here at the lake before they put the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yes, because when I was working in WDLK radio, they had live entertainment there because they brought the Temptations there one year, and I was there. But we've had some great times. We've had some great places to go to here.
I mean, Cleveland does have great theaters.
Yes.
Great places too.
Yeah, great entertainment here. Yeah. I love it. Yes.
A lot of talent.
Yeah, and then you got the Nautica down in the flats in the summertime. Great place for concert. Okay. You can sit outdoors with the pavilion. Yeah.
Right.
And the stage is there, but the screens are there. So, and people necessarily, it's just a social thing and just enjoying. It's having a good time.
Just sitting out. Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
Just being
Lot
outdoors.
3 down in Akron. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're almost out of time. We got a few more minutes left.
Okay.
And you got some more topics that you wanted to hit before we say good night?
Well, let's see here. What else? What is up with the Cavaliers? Speaking of sports.
That's a good question. I really don't keep up with them since LeBron James left. I guess I figured I'm not really a Cavaliers fan. I was a LeBron James fan.
I was too. Yeah,
and I think he's out even in the Lakers. He's not even playing for I think 15 games or so.
Okay. Yeah.
With a pulled groin muscle or something.
Oh, okay. Isn't he putting his all-star team or something together?
Oh, is he? I'm not sure, but I thought it was interesting that Kyrie, 2 years later, wants to apologize for his abrupt leaving. and he's not doing all that great.
Oh, you want to come back?
I guess.
Kyrie, you want to come back home?
The prodigal son? Come on, baby.
You're welcome. Our door is always open.
There you go. Exactly.
We don't turn away nobody here in Cleveland, Ohio. Come on back home.
Come on back home. This is where you want it all. Right
this is where you belong anyway.
Right.
Yes, indeed.
Make it here.
Yes. Well, I want to just say this has been a wonderful Sunday afternoon. And I've enjoyed you coming on. And
oh, yeah. Thanks for having me.
it's always okay. My favorite friend here.
Born on the same day.
Yes, January 15th.
Oh, wow.
Yes. We share the same birthday with Martin Luther King. And we like to say happy birthday to all you January babies.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Happy birthday.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
And get ready for Black History Month. Mm-hmm. So, do something wonderful. Educate your kids about their background, your family history. Share those stories, because stories are something that we need to continue to pass down. If we don't share those stories, we won't have a history.
Amen.
Okay?
Yes.
All right, so I want to just say, stay warm, be healthy, see something, say something, and do some good for someone else, because it's not always about you. Okay? Be blessed.
Amen.
All right, and tune in to us next Sunday for What's Going On with Lady D and the Sir John Anomaly Show.
And if not, we always have Audrey to come back and step in.
That's right. Okay.
Amen.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Bye.